Okay, so we know that gun violence is a huge problem, right? But guess what is a bigger problem? Heart disease. Heart disease is killing over 500,000 people on a yearly basis. Okay, so in 2022, right, 705,000 people died from heart disease, cardiovascular disease. You can look that up. And in 2023, 680,000 people died from heart disease. Okay, so I looked up gun violence, right? And it's nowhere near that number. The people that are dying from guns on a yearly basis, it's not, the number is not that high. Okay, it's under 100,000 people, if I am not mistaken. And if I am wrong, okay, you can look this up yourself. But what I do know for sure is drastically lower than the amount of people that are dying from heart disease. Okay, and guess what race has the most heart disease? African Americans. Okay, African Americans are at a higher risk of developing heart disease, and we are leading the numbers when it comes to the amount of people, the amount of black people that's dying of this disease on a yearly basis. Okay, so of that 705,000 people that died from heart disease, 22% of those people were African Americans. Okay, 22%, and we have 19% with white men, and then we have 17 and 80% of the other races, Hispanics, Mexicans, right? Those people, Native Americans also are on the list. Okay, but we took a big chunk of that number. African Americans took a big chunk of that number. This is the least talk about. This is not, a lot of people, especially our people, are not talking about this problem, this issue, because I have people in my family that died of this disease, right? It's not just heart disease. We have stroke, we have diabetes, we have cancer, right? These are the diseases that is killing our people higher, most, the highest, right? They're killing more our people higher, at a higher number. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. Majority of our people, right, are dying from heart disease. Okay, heart disease, it's the number one leading cause of death. It's the leading cause of death right now in the United States of America. It's heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States of America. Y'all, we are losing a lot more people to heart disease than even smoking, gun violence, HIV, the wars. We are losing more people than those other right, those other things that people are dying from right now. Right? Heart disease is taking more of us out than those heart diseases do not, because this has been reported by the World Health Organization, by the CDC. You can look this up. Okay, it's the leading cause of death right now. One person dies every 33 seconds from cardiovascular disease, which is heart disease. Right, one person dies every 33 seconds of this problem. Okay, heart disease. Okay, people are dying at a high number even of stroke, CAD, they call that, corneal artery disease. That's another one. Okay, killing over 300 or 200 people, 200,000 people. These diseases are killing more people than guns right now, right? Than smoking right now. I'm telling you, than accidents, than diseases like HIV, STDs. Like this one right here is the silent killer. This is a silent killer, because this one here, people are silent about this one. right? It's a silent killer because there's no real symptoms. You don't even know that you have heart disease until you have a heart attack. You wouldn't know that you have a stroke, you have high blood pressure until you have a stroke. Like, you would not know. That's why it's a silent killer. It's silent. You're not gonna know you have it until you get an attack. Until you get an attack, that's when, oh, I had heart disease, I have heart disease, I have a heart attack. I didn't even know. It's a silent killer because the symptoms are there or little to none. Right? The symptoms are little to none. And guess what's the leading cause of heart disease? Stress. Stress. Right? So if black people are dying at a higher rate than any other race, that would mean that black people are more stressful. Black people have the most stress, right? Because if stress is the leading cause of heart disease, stress is what causes heart disease, Stress causes heart disease. Okay, because when you are stressed, it puts your heart out of rhythm. It puts your heart out of rhythm, right? And when your heart is out of rhythm, then your vessels are at risk. They're closing up, they're tightening up because your heart is not able to pump, right, the way it should. So now your arteries, your vessels, your blood vessels are at risk. And this is how you develop these heart disease, cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is in the vessels. It's in the arteries. Okay? And when you are under stress, this is what it does to your body, to your heart, to your arteries, to your blood vessels. When you're under stress. This is why stress is the leading cause. It's the leading cause for heart disease. And black people, African Americans, are under a lot of stress. This is why we are dying the most, because we are under a lot of stress. Why? Because opportunities that are available to other races, opportunities for these other races to advance, it's not available to our race. You hear me? Opportunities that are available for other races to advance, right? To advance are not available to our people. So that becomes stressful in itself. That becomes very stressful for an African American who has all the qualifications, right? Who have all the qualifications for any opportunities. We are the least picked. We are the least picked. So we now are settling. Even though we're overqualified. I'm talking about we're overqualified. We started this whole thing. Do your research. The first people to be here was us. The first people to be here was us. We started this whole thing. We're overqualified. And we are the least. We're they're calling us the minority. They're calling us minorities, and we're not. These jobs and these opportunities, these big opportunities, they're not as available. They're as not many. Okay? Many of us are not hold on. These opportunities are not available to black people. Okay? Right. That's what I'm saying right now. This is why we are stressed. Because, come on, is that fair? You know what I mean? Like, is that fair? Why am I not getting picked? Why is another race superior to me? First of all, why am I the minority? That alone in itself is stress, because why am I a minority and they are a majority? Right? So because they're the majority, right, they are above us in a sense. They're superior to us in a sense that we're the minority, we're below. Okay? We're supposed to be below them people, these people. Okay? So that alone in itself can be stressful, because it's like, wait a minute, how is that fair to me? If I'm more qualified than you, how come I didn't get picked? If I came in with more credentials, how in the world did I not get picked? The only reason why I didn't get picked is because I'm African American. That's what I'm telling you. So they say, yes, it's not everybody. We know that we have a few. I'm not gonna say a lot. We have a few black people that's advancing, that got these opportunities, but it's not a lot of us because it's set up that way. It is set up that way. So only a few of us can be billionaires and trillionaires. Only a few of us can be entrepreneurs. Only a few of us can go to Yale University and Harvard University. Only a few. Is set up that way because majority of us supposed to be in Harvard right now. We're not. You're not seeing Harvard with a lot of black students because black students that got denied. Their application got denied even though they were qualified. So they only want a certain amount of us there. So you can do all applying all you want. They have a quota that they have to reach. Right? That jobs too. It's only a few black people you're gonna see there because they have to keep that number low. They have to keep you as the minority. They have to keep you at that level. So that alone can be stressful. For real. So this is why black people are have more heart disease because black people are stressed the most. Out of all of the races, we got the most stress. And this is why we're dying more than any other race. When it comes to heart disease, we're dying more than them because we're more stressed than these people. You ever heard of the movie The Diary of an Angry or a Mad Black Woman? The Diary of an Angry or Mad Black Woman? The Angry Black Woman? The Angry? We're stressed the most. Angry. That causes heart disease. Being angry all the time puts your heart at risk. You are at a higher risk at developing heart disease when you are angry all the time. Bitterness, anger turned into bitterness. Now you are at a higher risk of developing heart disease is what I'm saying. Okay, so how do we overcome this? I just stated all of the problems. Now let's talk about some solutions. How can we, as a black race, right, or as an African American, as a race, how can we overcome this? How can we overcome stress? How can we overcome stress? You're saying all of this, you're talking all of this, but at the moment, I'm still stressed and I'm still going to be stressed tomorrow. So what am I going to do? So people want to know, what can I do? Okay, what can you do? Even though the odds are against you right now, even though the odds literally, according to the numbers, the odds are against us, right? According to the numbers. Because African Americans are at a higher risk at developing heart disease. 22% of us are dying, higher percentage than all the other races. Okay, so the odds are against us right now. So how do you overcome that odd? How do you not be in that number? How can you not be in that 22%? How can you? So let's talk about stress. Okay, let's talk about stress. So stress kills, right? Like I just said, stress leads to heart disease. It can lead to heart attack. It can lead to heart failure. So if you can manage your stress, I'm talking about manage your stress as in little to no stress at all. I'm talking about 1% to 0% of stress. If you can do that, if you can lower your stress level, right? Because you have to do it. Then you have a better chance. You have a higher chance. You stand a better chance at not developing heart disease just by you lowering your stress. Okay, so how do you do that? First of all, you have to understand stress, because if you don't understand something, you're not gonna know how to deal with that. You're not gonna know how to manage it. You're not gonna know how to get rid of this problem if you don't understand the problem. Okay, so stress is a hormone. Stress is a drug, because when you are under stress, your brain releases stress hormones. See, stress hormones. It's literally a drug, right? That gets released. It's a hormone, which is a drug, which is a chemical that gets released. from your mind, from your brain. It gets released from your brain when you are under stress, okay? Because your mind is is in darkness. Your mind doesn't know it's having a external experience or an internal experience. Your mind is thinking that all of this is just one. Your mind does not know the difference between the outside and the inside. Your mind, okay, does not know the difference between the inside and the outside. So when you are imagining things in your mind and those imaginary things make you stressful, your brain releases chemicals as if you're having an external experience where you're not imagining. You are now seeing a group of dogs coming your way or lions coming your way, a dangerous animal, right? You're seeing as threats coming your way. Your brain does the same thing. It releases stress hormones, and that is just the energy. It's giving you extra energy so you can run, or you can fight, or you can hide. Okay, I got this from Joe Dispenza, guys. Check out Joe Dispenza on YouTube. So the brain now is releasing this hormone, which is like an adrenaline rush. It's giving you the extra boost, that boost of energy for you to run or for you to hide. But that's taken from you now, because when you know that's energy. It's a lot of energy. It's pulling from you. So that energy is going to give you that boost you need to fight or run, right? So but when you are thinking about that, let's say there's no animal and you're imagining some dogs coming at you, you get scared. You literally get scared just from you imagining some things that happened in the past, okay, that scared you in the past. Just you imagining that, your brain is thinking it's having an external experience, and your brain now is going to release these chemicals, these stress hormones, adrenaline rush. It's going to do that whether you're having a real experience or an imaginary one. The brain doesn't know the difference, so the brain is going to release these chemicals regardless. Okay, that's what the brain will do, because the brain is trying to protect you, right? It's trying to protect you. That chemical is called cortisol, and that chemical is dangerous if used excessively, but that chemical is good for you, right? For you, like I said, for you to run or for you to fight. That chemical gives that extra energy, that boost that you need. But if it's constantly being released, that's when it becomes stressful to you, and that's when it can harm you. It lowers your immune system, and that's why you can get sick. Example, heart disease. You can bring on a heart attack, heart disease, just from you being stressed, because this hormone that gets released, right? Like I said, it can shut down your immune system. Your immune system drops. Your energy drops, because it's taken from you, because you get tired now, because after the fact now you're tired, you use all this energy to run, and you got away, there's no more danger. So now you can breathe now. You can breathe properly. Your heart is back in rhythm. Everything is back the way it's supposed to be. Homeostasis. The cells, everything is back in order, back in alignment when you stop running, right? But imagine you're doing this every single day, because how often are you going to see wild dogs or wild lions coming your way? How often will that happen? That's not going to happen as often, right? Okay, so your body is, you can recover, like, okay, so good, you can recover a couple of days or whatever, a few hours you need for you to recover, that's fine. But imagine you're doing this every single day. Every single day you're under stress. There is not a day that go by that you are not stressed, and you're not giving your body enough time to recover, because you're always using this energy. This hormone keeps getting released, and it's using your energy, so you're not giving your body enough time to even recover. Why do you think you feel tired all the time? Why do you think you're always tired? And you need coffee, you need some kind of energy drink. Why? Because you are using up this chemical is being released constantly. It's taking up too much of your energy, because the body has to take from you to get this energy for you to run or for you to fight. right? You need to recover. Everyone needs to recover. But because you're mentally rehearsing this past trauma, this past experience, because you are mentally rehearsing it every day, and you are having that emotional attachment to this every single day, this is what's making you sick. This is what can bring on these heart disease. This is what can bring on problems, biological problems within you. You can start forming what they say, growths and tumors, cancer. All of these things can happen from that internal experience that happened a long time ago, or from an experience that never happened that you are scared of right now. Your brain is doing that. This is what your body is doing, because your body believes you. The brain doesn't know the difference. So it believes that you're having this experience, even though the experience already happened, or the experience didn't even happen as yet. The brain believes you. And that's why this chemical gets released. But it's harming us. It's doing a lot of damage. It's doing more harm than good. It's doing way more harm than good, because a lot of people this chemical cortisol is getting released I'm talking about on a daily basis, just because the brain does not know that you are having an internal experience. The brain thinks you're having an external experience. The brain does not know the difference. The brain is going off of straight electrical impulses, energy, your thoughts, your emotions. The brain is that's what the brain is feeling. The brain is getting that. The brain is getting your energy, your emotions. The brain is picking up your electrical signals, those thoughts that you're sending to the brain, energy-wise. That's what the brain is interpreting. So the brain is not interpreting the physical experience. The brain is interpreting the mental experience. The brain is really believing it's happening. Okay? So this is why it's important for you to understand. That's why I'm saying understand this. Because if you understand it, then you will know how to better control it. You now can take control, right? You can better control this now. Control stress, manage stress, reduce stress. It's like your life depends on this. Literally, your life depends on it. Because if you keep being under stress every single day, you are at a higher risk, especially if you're African American, especially if you're black. African American. America's leading the world right now when it comes to heart disease, stroke, heart attacks, right? Diabetes, flu. America is leading the way, leading the world. And African American is leading the world when it comes to these diseases, okay? Okay, America is leading the world. So, especially if you're African, black in America, especially if African American, especially if you're Negro, especially if you're whatever you want to call yourself with this skin tone that live in America, that's living in America right now, even if you're living here, because you're exposed to all of this. If you're living here, you have to consider yourself an African American because you're living here and you're exposed to all this thing. You're eating just the way they're eating. You're stressed just like them. You're stressed just like them. Yes, you're stressed like them, so therefore you're one of us. Yes, you're an African American. If you're living here, and if you've been living here for more than a year, you're definitely an African American, because you're stressed. You are stressed. And stress is what's causing this disease, okay? And don't think I'm ignoring the other races. I'm not ignoring the other races at all. This is not what this is. I'm not trying to be all biased here, okay? I'm just letting the numbers speak for itself. I'm letting the numbers speak for itself, okay? I'm bringing awareness, because a lot is more of us with this disease than any other race. So should I not focus on us? Should I not focus on us? I should. Because the other race that wants to know, they can do their research. I said the numbers. I said about 19% of white males are dying from heart attack. Okay, heart attacks, white males. So y'all coming in at number 2. I think we have Native Americans at number 3 or at number 2, but you can look that up yourself, because I've done my research for my people, for me. I did my research for me, okay? And people who look like me that's living here need to know this also. Needs. This is a need. This is not a want, y'all. This is a need. Because we're losing our people. We're losing our loved ones. My grandfather died from diabetes. He had a stroke. Okay, he had heart problems. My grandmother currently have heart problems, heart disease. I have an aunt who have heart disease. Okay? So it's in my family. And guess what? Who could be next? Have a possibility? Me. Because I went to the doctor and they said I have high blood pressure, especially after I gave birth to my last. So my blood pressure was high, and it stayed high for a long time. I had to literally had to change my lifestyle to manage my blood pressure. But if my blood pressure stays high, I can develop heart disease. Okay, I can develop heart disease if my blood pressure is not managed. Yes, I can get a stroke. I can have a stroke if my blood pressure stays high. Yes. Yes. Because of stress. Because of stress. Yes. Because of stress. If I get stressed out, I can have my blood pressure is going to go up. And I'm at risk of a heart attack or a stroke at any given moment. And I'm not going to know. I'm not going to even see it coming. That's the thing. You're not even going to see it coming. It just comes. Because you feel right now like you're good. I feel healthy. Man, I feel healthy. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Next thing you know, you can't move. You can't talk. You can't move. You can't talk. You're saying stuff, but they can't hear you. Yes. You're speaking, but they can't hear you. Stop having a middle of a stroke. That's what happens. You're not going to see it coming. All the people that get heart attacks and stroke, a lot of people, no one saw it coming. No one saw it coming. A lot of them, they look healthy, young, especially young people. We talk about young people here. That 20s and 30s with heart attack and died of stroke. We're talking about young people here. So you definitely don't see it coming because you're like, I'm only in my 20s, honey. I know I'm not no risk of develop no heart disease. I'm only in my 20s. I'm only in my 30s. I'm only in my 40s. Oh no, honey. We have young people dying of heart attack and stroke now. Young black people too at that. We're also leading numbers in that. A lot of young black people, young African Americans are dying from heart attack and stroke. Yes, you can look it up. You can look it up. So this runs in my family. So I had to make a choice, me, to save myself, to save my life, so I can break that cycle. I can break that cycle. I had to make some drastic lifestyle changes. I'm talking about, man, just thinking about it. I had to make I'm talking about some drastic lifestyle changes to save myself. Because that was the only way for me to break this generational curse. Because this is a generational curse. If my grandmother is suffering from heart disease, my grandfather basically died of heart disease, right? My mother has high cholesterol. That can lead to heart disease also. I have high blood pressure. This is a generational curse. Stress. That means all of us were stressed. Stress causes that. Okay? So me now, I had to make some drastic lifestyle changes so that I can break that curse. Because there's a chosen one in that bloodline that will break the curse. We have some chosen ones in your bloodline that will break that curse. Because we have been informed, we took the time out, okay? We took the time to understand this. We did our research, okay? I, as a chosen out of my bloodline, I did my research. So I had to say, you know what? Now I have to be the one to break this cycle. This is a cycle. And I can't let it come to me and let it take me out also. I can't live with this disease either. I cannot. My aunt has heart problems. My aunt died from, man, breathe. My aunt passed away from heart disease. And my aunt was only in her 50s. Okay? So, this runs in my family. So, I had to save myself because no one else was going to do it for me. Bob Marley said this: emancipate yourself from mental slavery because none but ourselves can free our minds. Okay? So I had to free myself. Okay? Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Right? So I had to save myself by by making these drastic changes. Okay? When I had high blood pressure, I didn't feel good about that. I didn't want to take a pill for the rest of my life. So I decided to change my diet. Salt. I cook with a lot of salt. And salt is known for, elevating your blood pressure. Salt is known for raising your blood pressure. So I had to reduce my salt intake. I had to eat a healthier diet. And it seemed drastic at the time because I also had my kids. Eating healthy too, not just me, the kids also, because I didn't want them to carry on that generational curse too. So if it's going to stop at me, it also has to stop with them too. So it seemed drastic. Ooh, excuse me, that was a mosquito, y'all. That's a mosquito was trying to get me. That's a mosquito. And these ones hurt. So it seemed drastic at the time. It seemed drastic, and it still do seem drastic to some people, right? Because they're like, how can you take away protein from children? They need protein. How can you take away flour and sugar from children? They need sugar. They're just children. But because these people are uneducated, okay, the lack of knowledge is the perishing of our people, because these people are uneducated when it comes to sugar, when it comes to salt, when it comes to fat. They look at it as drastic. If you take your kids off of sugar, if you take your kids off of fat, if you take your kids off of salt, off of meat, they see it as drastic, but they're not really thinking like, I'm just trying to save my child's life. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break this generational curse. Okay? I don't want my child to die from heart disease or have a stroke or have cancer. So I have to make the change, okay? So that I don't also die from this disease, because I don't want to see me dying from that kind of disease, right? So I had to make the change. And also, I said, you know what? If it's good for me, it's also good for my children. Okay? And because I did that drastic change, I also found out that the school system was also bad for my kids. I found out a lot of stuff that was not healthy for my children, was not good for my children. Physically, mentally, emotionally, I found out this. I did my own research. Okay? I did my own research. I went to find the truth for myself. I did that for myself and for my children. So because of this, okay, I am labeled as crazy in my family for making these drastic changes by taking my kids out of school and by taking them off of this unhealthy American diet. Yes. America is one of the unhealthiest country in the world right now. And for taking my children out of this unhealthy country too, I've also been labeled as mad and crazy. Yes, because of this, because of my brave attempt, my attempt to save my children's life, I got labeled crazy and shunned from my family because of these changes that I decided to make for my family, for myself. Yes. Because I took the time. I had to leave work. I had to quit my job because my job was killing me. I had to quit my job because I was stressed and the shit was going to take me the fuck out of here. And my kids was never going to see me ever again and ever if I had continued to work that job. So I became crazy. I became the crazy mother because I decided to save my life. I decided to save my children's life. And now I'm crazy. Now they see me as less than. They see me as less than. Because I decided to take my children out of this country. This God-forsaken country. I tried to do that. I tried to take all of my children out of this country. Because I didn't want my children a part of that number. Because history repeats itself, y'all. History repeats itself. If my grandmother, I'm seeing my grandmother suffering. I'm seeing my mother suffering. I saw my grandfather died from this. I saw how unhealthy and sick my grandfather was. My grandfather was in a wheelchair. My grandfather stroked. My grandfather could barely talk. My grandfather could barely move. My grandfather was suffering. My grandfather was suffering because of this disease. And I see people in my family. My aunt was in the hospital for months. My aunt died from this problem, this heart problem. And I wanted to save my children. I didn't want my children to go through that bullshit. I didn't want to go through that bullshit. So my decisions was drastic. And because of that, I'm not able to see my own daughter. My daughter, we went vegan. We went vegan. I took my kids out of school because my kids were stressed. My daughter was stressed. I didn't want this from my children. I wanted to save my children from this. I wanted to save them. I did not want my kids to live in a country where they can die from heart disease because they have a higher chance, because they're black and they live here, they have a higher chance of developing heart disease. I have a higher chance. Even more than my children. I have a higher chance of developing heart disease and a stroke at a young age. And my grandfather died from this. He was in his 70s. I'm only in my 40s, y'all. I'm already having high blood pressure. I'm already feeling funny. My heart beats faster than it should. It beats faster than it should. So I'm trying to save myself. I try to save myself. I try to leave this country. I try to leave this country. I didn't want to be in harm's way. I didn't want my children in harm's way. I didn't want my children in harm's way. I just wanted my children to be healthy and happy. The two things that I didn't see much in my family. I didn't see a lot of my family members happy. I did not see a lot of my family members healthy. And that's all I wanted from my children. I didn't... and it's being looked at as crazy, as a bad thing. And all I'm trying to do is to make healthy choices. That's all I'm trying to do, is to make healthy choices so I can be here. So I can be here for a long time. And I can show my children what happiness and a healthy person looks like. So I could be their role model, not nobody else. So I can be their role model, me. I want them to look up to me as a role model. So we can break this generational curse. How else? How else? How else? How else are we gonna do it? How else are we gonna do it? How much praying can we do, yo? How much praying can we do? How else are we gonna do it if we're still dying? We're still the number one. We're still the race that's dying the most than any other race. With all the praying that we're doing, with all the praying that we're doing, with all the church we're going to, with all the Jesus we believe in and the Jesus we love, we're still dying at a higher rate. We're still losing our family members, young family members at that. Young and old, we're losing family members. And it's not a good feeling. It doesn't feel good to lose someone to heart disease. This is painful for me because this hits home, you know. This hits home for me. I know this is in my family. And I'm being affected. I am being affected by this, you know. Me. So this is why I said it's important, it's vital. If you want to save your life, if you want to save your life and you want to save your children's life, you have to make changes. You have to make changes. You can't do the same thing over and over and over again expecting a different result. You have to make the change. You have to be the change. You have to be the change. You got to take the lead in this. You have to start doing better. You have to do that. You have to do it. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to take that first step. You have to start feeling better about yourself. You have to start feeling better about yourself. You have to start talking better about yourself. You have to start eating better. You have to start doing better. You can't eat the same thing and expect a different result. You can't talk the same way. You can't talk the same way expecting different. You have to change. You have to be the one to change. Okay? I was talking for over 40 minutes. This one really is personal. You know, this is personal, and you know, this is my raw emotions, you know, that I'm allowed to have. You know, I don't do this every day because even this, you know, it's stressful. It's stressful to me, stressful to myself. So this is not something that I do every day. You know, I don't cry every single day. No, I don't cry every day. I don't feel stress every day. I don't have depression. I don't have this every day. I don't feel like that every day. Most of the time I'm in a good mood. Because why? Because I took the steps, the drastic steps, to not feel stressed all the time, to not feel, you know, unhappy all the time, to not cry every day. I had to take the necessary steps to save myself. I had to do that, right? That's why I said you have to be the one. You are the one in your bloodline to make that change so you can break this curse. One love.